In this video, we're gonna break the entire population of the US into income brackets. This is a very fun activity so that you can understand the spread of total income made in the United States. Meaning we're gonna look at something like, let's say, $0 to $20,000. And I'm gonna tell you how much of the US falls into that income bracket. Now, you might ask yourself, well, what does this really tell me? This is gonna give you guys a really good understanding of where you are relative to everybody else. And I think it's actually something that the data is super interesting. There are so many people out there that think that there's like 50% of people make more than $300,000 a year. The classic one is if you find yourself on TikTok, there's all these videos of street interviews saying that like somebody's looking for a prospective partner and they have to make $500,000. Well, I'm about to tell you the actual percent of people across the board that make that level of income. And we're gonna look at the actual percentages. And hopefully this is somewhat of a reality check because I think most people that care about this are usually doing better than they think that they're doing. And this also might be a kick in the butt if you're not doing as well as you think you're doing. You gotta go harder, give it some effort, succeed in life, be not average. That's the big thing for this channel is like, we want financial mutants, we want people that achieve, right? But let's get right into the data. And if you haven't already subscribed, please consider subscribing. We do a lot of stuff on this channel that's super cool, but let's get straight into the data. First on our list, under 15 grand a year. How many Americans fall into this? That would be 8.3% of the American population makes less than 15 grand a year. $15,000 to $24,999. That's 7.4% of the American population. Now we're going from $25,000 to $34,999. That's 7.6% of the population. And we're going from $35,000 to $49,999, and that's gonna be 10.6% of the population. Then we're gonna go to $50,000 to $74,999. This is gonna be our second largest income bracket at 16.2% of the population. Then we have $75,000 to $99,999, just $1 under 100K, that six-figure mark. And this is going to be 12.3% of the population. Then we actually have our largest income bracket, which is where you get a little bit surprising, and that's $100,000 to $149,999. And this is gonna be 16.4% of the US population. Now that might sound scary, right? Because that's our biggest bracket. You also have to realize that we aren't all 25 or 30 or whatever it is, that there are a lot of folks out there watching this video or in the workforce that are almost 65, let's say, or they've been in the workforce for 40 years or 30 years. They are the people that are in director level roles, management level roles, all those types of roles. Everyone that's in the workforce for that long is driving more economic value. So you actually have quite a few people in that income bracket because that's kind of like the top income bracket for most individuals. Most individuals will never get higher than that. And that's why you see it actually be the kind of like top net of what people are making. And we're gonna go to $150,000 to $199,999. And that's gonna be 9.2% of the population. And then we're gonna go to over $200,000. And that's gonna be 11.9% of the population. Now that one's insane. And most people are gonna be like, that is actually insane. But with the top one, and I wanna say this out loud because it's both data and their socioeconomic, so I don't want that to scare you. You have to realize that some of our most dense working populations are in high cost of living areas. Boston, New York, San Francisco, LA, Chicago. These are high cost of living areas, right? Where you have greatly inflated costs of living and greatly inflated incomes. Do I think it's inflated enough to live in these areas? Absolutely not. As a Boston resident, you need to make double what these averages are to be able to live here. But with that said, you have to realize these are averages and it's getting highly skewed by high cost of living areas. So that top bracket doesn't surprise me at all, and it shouldn't be something that's scary to you. If you find yourself living in basically the state of Florida is a great example, or the state of Texas, if you eliminate Miami and Austin, there you go. Very few people are making that money because you don't need that in those states because you just don't have as high of a cost of living, right? Well, you need the money and people still make the money, but the percentage of people that make that money in lower cost of living states versus high cost of living states is radically different. So also just realize that based on where you are, those things are affected. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video and I will see you guys in the next one.